Welcome to our introduction videos on Bank. In this particular video, we're going to cover the different bomb sites. What this video will cover is what the sites look like, what soft walls, what hatches, what soft floors and ceilings are around the site. It will cover some general strategies or tips on things to do, some good walls that you almost always want to reinforce, some places that you may always want to have a rotation at, and things like that. What it will not cover is specific strategies for either attacking or defending. It won't cover what operators you should or shouldn't bring. I do talk about a couple of operators like Mirror occasionally, but not in any sort of context like you need to bring her or here's the strategy built around her. Just, you know, you could put a Mirror here or there. Specific strategies are not in this video. The idea here is to just give you a general introduction to the bomb sites and to the map so that you can better understand how to play those sites, and you'll figure out strategies by who you play with, how they play, and just generally what operators you want to bring and use together. For the first site, we're going to look at Executive Lounge and CEO's office. So you can see we're in Executive Lounge. This is the B site. And CEO's Lounge, this is the A site. So a couple things to think about. This is a strong site to hold, but it also is a site that has a lot of different angles to shoot at you from. So this wall and this wall both lead out to Skylight Stairwell.
10 seconds to
Typically
insertion.
both these walls are fully reinforced.
5 seconds to insertion.
These windows lead out to the street, as do these, so that you
Op
have
4 has yet to locate a bomb.
rappels here all across the front of the building. And these windows lead out to this area. This is usually referred to as banana because of the shape. But you can have rappels and the parking garage across the street shooting in here. So one thing on this site that I like to do is just put up wooden barricades on all 4 of these windows. It's not going to stop you from getting shot. A Glaz, a Blackbeard, anyone with a higher power, longer range rifle can shoot these open. But especially if it's a Glaz or a Blackbeard, you can listen to the distinct sounds of their guns opening these windows and be aware that you're going to have a sniper covering this rotation and into this room so that you can be careful about how you play. Right. This wall here leads to the janitor's closet, so it's a full soft wall here. This wall is soft into the front desk area. And this wall, and this wall, and this wall are all soft in the conference room. So attackers will like to either rappel down, which is a little crazy, but sometimes they'll do it, or more likely come in this door or that window or one of those 2 windows. You definitely want to reinforce all of these soft walls as a defender, but the double-edged sword is it does give the attackers some cover to try to get some foothold up here, because you obviously can't shoot them from sight. You have to be playing the hallway to do it. So you also want to look at having like a Mute, Bandit, or Kaid on these walls. And like I said, they can come from this door here, so they can establish control here. As an attacker, generally I generally try to get a claymore right about here. So if someone does try to flank you on the stairs later, they are going to hit that claymore. Attackers also like to come from this window, and one way to help combat that is just to open up this wall like so. It doesn't need to be pretty, but what you're doing is giving yourself as a defender some cover. Like if I'm playing here and I think someone's coming in, I can just shoot them from here, shoot them from here, and they don't have cover. I don't have to blindly try to wallbang them. Attackers obviously can try to come from the ground floor and up here, try to attack into here, try to open this wall. One thing that I love to do as a defender, and some people do, is actually hide in the elevator. You can carefully clear here, make sure that that's safe, or shoot any attackers that are coming up the stairs. And then if that's safe, you can come over here and catch anyone in this hallway. And a lot of times defenders don't check that. Even in ranked, it's kind of wonky. They'll just, or not defenders, sorry, attackers won't check that. And you can pretty easily get a flank on them. In higher level ranked, or where teams are droning well, that starts to become a little dicey, because if you get droned and this is not open, you're going to have trouble. So I would encourage you to try to get this open by your own shotgun or teammates, so that if you are getting, if you know that they've droned you out or that they're trying to fight you, you can just drop and get away. Or hopefully get away. What you can do is use this room as defense. If so, I would definitely reinforce these two walls. And I would also open up across the bottom of here. One thing I think also that you guys can see is that there's the value of at least one defender having a shotgun. Because I'm doing things here that you can't do with impacts. Or here that you can't do with impacts. To even open up two parts of the wall would take 2 impacts, right? And the other thing too is if you have a high hole like this, it also is easier for the attackers to play. This hole, the attackers have to crouch down. They're more limited in how they play that, whereas as a defender, you don't need to crouch down to see them. And then here, you can't do that with an impact. And the advantage here is you can actually prone out here and get a nasty little angle on the top of the lobby stairs. And that's going to be an exceptionally different angle. Like that's basically where I was laying, and you can see you're shooting past the desk, past the chair. There's already that black cosmetic there that the defender would be laying in front of. Even here, just trying to come in here, it's from that room. If you're trying to find the defender, that's not a good gunfight. You're as a defender, if you're laying down and you're sitting on this angle, you have a huge advantage. One thing to be aware of as both a defender and attacker is this entire floor is soft. This goes down into archives. And this floor. And this floor go down into tellers. Or teller's office, I guess I should say. So this is all the executive lounge up here. This is the hallway outside of executive lounge. And then this is CEO's lounge. The reason I bring this out is anyone who's looking to play vertically, a pulse on defense, or a buck in particular on attack, or if you want to bring a shotgun with another attacker, you know, if you want to be Thorn might open up the wall and then just come down here with a shotgun and open up the floor, you can go in here and start to open up under the defender's positions, and you can flush them out of some of the better defensive positions, or at least start to get them to move while your other teammates are pressuring from doorways or breach holes. Oh, should cover runouts as well. So one of the common runout points on this map are these windows here. tear the barricade over and drop down, and you can now shoot at any of the rappels. So this is on top of the stairwell, this is CEO's lounge, and this is the hallway outside of executive lounge. So if someone's rappelled up, pressuring sight, you can jump out here and shoot them. Usually people do this one as a jump out point because it gives you an angle on any of the rappels. No one's going to be sitting here typically later in the round rappelled on these windows. They'll have come up and come in. They won't be holding a rappel, but they can still be holding a rappel here. So as attackers, a lot of times it pays off to put a claymore right here. So basically you want to be beside this window and out from the wall a little bit, so right about there. And then if anyone jumps out, they land on the claymore. The other run-out spot is obviously coming from lobby.
You will be
come out
detected if you
here.
remain in this area. You have been spotted.
The counter for that is if you're really expecting a run-out, is to have a player, an attacker rappelled on this window watching here. The second someone comes in here, you have shots on them. Had an early call out for anyone who's rappelled that there's a run-out so that they can just move to the top.
15 seconds.
That pretty much covers this site as a general
10
introduction.
seconds left.
Again, if you have any questions on this site, ask in the comments below.
5 seconds to go.
So this is the second bomb site we'll cover. This is our lockers bomb site on the B site here, and our CCTV with the A bomb. So this particular site has this tunnel. The drop for it is the jewelry front spawn.
Down to 10
So
seconds.
attackers will be able to come directly into this tunnel and start to pressure in on this site.
5 seconds left.
There's this
You must protect your
rack
bomb.
of servers,
You'll
which
be
actually
by Op
functions
4.
as a hard wall that you can play behind. You can also play behind it as an attacker, so a little later in the round you can watch this door if you're expecting a flank. Also to this effect, because you can play an attacker here, right, who can shoot in on the side. I'm just opening that a little bit from some cover here. Usually we want to reinforce and try to get this wall muted or bandaged if possible. Limit the ability for the attackers to open up that wall and shoot into sight. Similarly, this wall as well, because this wall can allow a shield push. I'll open this up a little bit to give you an idea. So if you're, so this is, come on. There we go. So obviously if I'm Monty, I'm standing, but if I'm Monty, I can come in right through here, and you can plant right here. So this allows you to come in and have full shield cover from any defender position, and then either yourself or someone behind you go for the plant through this push. So this wall, opening this wall as an attacker, if you're doing, especially if you're doing a shield push, is super useful. Even if you're not doing a shield push, something that you can do as an attacker, if the wall's open, you can actually just crawl through to move into the site, and sometimes surprise defenders because you're there, suddenly there, or at the very least you've got some ability to come in and use this wall to fight closer range and better angles. So generally as defenders you want to try to get those two walls reinforced and protected. We have one hatch here, one hatch here, and going down the hallway. One hatch here. In my opinion, this hatch and this hatch are two of the more important hatches on this site. If this hatch can stay reinforced so no one can drop from here, it gives you a rotation through the backside of the site that's safe. At least unless you're getting pushed really hard from one of the entrances. This area can remain safe. If this hatch is held and you have a defender here and you have a defender over in one of these hallways here. This hatch is, a lot of times people worry about reinforcing this hatch. But generally speaking, when you talk about defending this site, the A site, you're not necessarily trying to hold the A site. You're trying to make it a kill box. So if you've got a mirror, you can play a mirror here. So I put the reinforcement here. I'll just throw it up. And then mirror can shoot here. Open the top for a C4 throw. If a plane's going down, she can throw her C4 through there. Obviously you want to practice those throws because they're a little tricky, but you can get that C4 to come through and land over here and potentially kill people who are trying to plant. So a mirror there is super strong. That said, this wall is super critical. I'll just shoot it open. So all you need is one attacker with an ACOG and that wall open, and he can shoot down into the hallway where Mira is, cover this rotation hallway here, and shoot into the hallway into the B site. Right, so he may not be able to kill the mirror. If you know that that's getting opened up, you can kind of play back a little bit and make it a little harder for that guy to shoot you. But if you can open this wall up as an attacker, you take away this hall here as a defense point, or at least as a strong defense point. So trying to get this wall open as attackers is very important. Generally speaking, trying to push in from garage is exceptionally difficult. If I'm attacking, I'm generally not trying to get in on site. I just want to get in here, open up that wall, and use either the pillar or the pillar or truck to simply take shots on defenders and limit rotations. Like I said, this hatch in CCTV isn't that important because I can also, as Mira, cover that drop from here. I just have to be careful that they don't shoot me, so once it's open, I've got to be aware of that and play accordingly. Keep my angles back so that they have trouble seeing or shooting me. It's also important there to open up as little of the wall as possible. You could even, because you've got the mirror, you could even leave the wall intact and just shoot through the soft wall. There's also a hatch in the elevator. This one is, assuming that you've got someone who can comfortably defend from over here, because this hatch isn't getting opened. The elevator hatch generally isn't super dangerous because the defender can play against that hatch from here and the doors from here, or from here, or even just play here and be aware of it and come back. So in terms of attacking the site, you can certainly try to attack the A site. Actually, I'll do it this way. By pushing tunnel. And behind opening this hatch. So let's show you what it's like shooting down at that mirror from, or that defense position from different sites. So this is shooting down at that door. So that's the hole right there that I opened to talk about the Monty push. So that particular hatch is really more of just a drop to get near sight. This is the one right above mirror. So this one's critically important because if this gets opened, that, wait, not right above mirror. Oh, I'm saying, confusing myself trying to talk. Right above this cross hallway. It's not right above the mirror, but obviously if someone can drop here uncontested, they can fight here or here. On the flip side, if you're an attacker and you drop there and there's a strong defense, you can get crossfire too. You might kill whoever's playing on the mirror, but you probably aren't going to survive the fight. So this is trying to shoot down at the mirror. So the one thing that the advantage here is that you can't back as far back from the hatch. Like the further you back away, the more of an angle you can get. So like here I can get further back from the hatch. So I can shoot quite a ways into the room at a very flat angle. Here I can't get as far back, even crouched, so I have a relatively flat angle. I can shoot to the side of the mirror, and I do have a bit of an advantage in that gunfight, but I can't get a great angle behind the mirror. The hatch placement actually protects the mirror. So using that hatch, what it can do is at least limit the play on the mirror against someone trying to play it on a site. It's harder for whoever's on that mirror, or even just reinforcement. If you don't have a mirror, you can always just use a reinforcement in play. So that hatch limits angles down into there.
Down to 15 seconds.
All right, so that's this site. If you have any questions, please ask. The third site that we'll look at is referred to as Tellers and Archives. Technically, though, the A bomb is actually in Teller's office, and the B bomb is in Archives. So in terms of soft walls, this is a soft wall. This is a soft wall. This is a soft wall, and the wall between sites is fully soft. This wall is hugely important both in terms of defense and attack. Just open this up. So this is obviously open area and admin office. So the reason this particular wall is really important is you can use it. You can either open a rotation in it, like I've done as a defender, so that you can fight from in here, or even if no one's pressuring from here, but they're pressuring from main lobby or from Skylight Stairwell, you can work on a flank. Or you want to reinforce it, because if you don't have a rotation, you're not defending this office, attackers can certainly come in here, and they actually have some cover from flanks and pinches, because they have these nice hard walls to hide behind, so they can come in here and work on opening up the wall. There is the chance of the ceiling being used against them. It is a soft ceiling. This goes into the janitor's closet, or the hatch, obviously, so defenders could use the ceiling or the hatch to defend. But generally speaking, this is a pretty good spot as an attacker to come in here, get a hold, and then open up this wall for pressure onto site. So this wall can be a double-edged sword depending on how you want to do it. Part of it depends on how you're going to defend the site. If you're going to try to hold people in this site, using this as a rotation may not be the best idea, because you don't really want to be trying to do a hard hold where you also have a rotation. you know, that's going to be off to your side that you can't watch. Like if I'm fighting people at the door and the window, I don't really want to have to watch for a rotation over here. Even if you moved it over here, it still can be pretty easy for someone to come in there when you're not looking because you're fighting someone. This wall, this soft wall here, can be played in a bunch of different ways. If you're going to try to have people on both sides, I certainly like to shotgun open part of the wall like so that you can shoot either way as a defender through it. So if you lose either side, you have some angles to shoot through. If you're going to try to do a hard hold on a site, you may want to simply reinforce part of the wall, you know, part way across, and then just have kill holes that you can play onto the B site to defend from there. Depends, again, it's really dependent on kind of the strategy you and your group are going to go for. This wall pretty much should absolutely be reinforced, so you should be spending 2 reinforcements here. Same with this wall. So this wall leads to the main stairs, open area, elevator. And then this soft wall is pretty explanatory. It opens here. You want to try to funnel the attackers through one of the 2 doorways, not open up a big hole if you're trying to defend this site. You don't really want this to be open if you can avoid it. So you want that protected. And obviously, if you can keep this wall closed too, that's huge, because then attackers have to come through a different angle. This site is hugely susceptible to a Glaz or Blackbeard, or even like a Dokkaebi or Buck or someone with a DMR up on these windows, covering rotations, both the ground floor and to some degree second floor. So this front area here you shouldn't really be running around in it as a defender unless maybe you got a Velt camera outside that can watch. One way to get a Velt camera outside would be to throw it up there. But obviously you're banking on needing a Velt camera to identify repels if you're going to play that Velt camera. So this floor here is hard, so anyone playing in here can't be killed from above. And this wall is hard. So this is actually somewhere where you can run a defender. What I'll do is get rid of whatever I can along here. This doesn't, as you can see, this won't go anywhere. You can kind of move it around. So if you have a min, kind of want to push it back, you can kind of move it out of the way a little bit, but I definitely get rid of the monitor. And then you've got some angles here. You can actually just shoot right through there, and you can play some of the other entrances. All the floors, or ceilings I should say, in here are open, so attackers, there we go, can go into Executive Lounge or CEO's office and open up the floor to apply vertical pressure. This is one entrance that gives you direct sightline onto the door and window of archives, so you definitely can see attackers come this way. They can also come from dirt tunnel or garage and come up here. This is something you want to be aware of, these metal detectors. They'll cue you in that someone's coming. I really like opening these doors, killing the camera. If we got a claymore, putting a claymore about here, and then playing from the stairwell down. You usually get some kills against 1 or 2 of the defenders here. You do want to drone and clear the hallway or the blue door. because people will attack from above. Sometimes a defender will sit in here, and when you come down Skylight stairwell, or when you've come in from here but you're starting to push in, they'll get the kill from behind. There is an entrance here from the back alley. It doesn't give you any sort of direct access to the site, but you can use that, clear open area, and cross into here. If you enter from stock trading, which will be right here, you can come down this stairwell, and if you can clear the other stairwell, open area, and that part of the lobby, you can then use hard breachers, presumably hard breachers, to attack this wall. If it's not reinforced, obviously just a soft breacher. Later in the round, probably the last thing I can, kind of general thing I can think about later in the round, is if you still have a defender that's been roaming a little bit, a lot of times you can get kills from here by just rappelling over and fighting people that are attacking out of these doors. So there's 3 metal detectors, the one here, the one here, and the one that I pointed out before at the top of loose stairs. Knowing the sound of the metal detectors and their locations is hugely helpful. Unless you don't want those sweet audio cues. As you can see, you literally can't disable them, unlike some radios, so they will go off.
Op 4 has yet to locate a bomb.
The final site on Bank that we'll look at is open area and staff room. So this is staff room, this is the B bomb, and this is open area with the A bomb. This is usually a site that's avoided in ranked or Go 4s, Pro League, etc., if at all possible. It can be defended, but it definitely needs people who understand the map and can play as a group to do so, because there is a lot of ways, a lot of open space on this. So first of all, just talk about the ways you can get onto the site. You have that door from open area, or from back alley. I have no idea why I said open area. This door from back alley, you can have people come from underground, dirt tunnel, and come in this way. You can have people who rappel in from the windows up here, or come in the door that is up here. You can even have people come through the lobby, through tellers and archives, to come around from this side. And on this side you have lobby, front entrance lobby, back. You can have people come down main stairs, either rappel from the window or just enter upstairs and come down from stock trading. You have people that enter the garage and come up from here. So there's a lot of different ways just to get access to this floor. But more importantly, if we remember, up here we have one hatch that drops into the corner of open area. One hatch drops into the center of open area. And one hatch that drops into admin office. We also have soft floor, hard floor here, which is nice. Soft floor over here though. So one half of this, the hallway, where you have the hallway upstairs, is all hard, but one half over here, that's soft. This is in stock trading. This ceiling though is all hard. So that makes this room has no drop hatches and no ceilings. It makes defending in this room a little safer because you don't have any vertical play. That said, you have a soft wall that leads to the skylight stairwell. You have a soft wall that leads to the window from back alley. And then obviously in this room you have a soft wall over here that leads to archives. And this soft wall just leads to the same open area. So this particular soft wall, you can put a rotation in here, or even just like I've seen teams will do a mirror, like a mirror here, so that they can play anyone trying to enter. So the site is not, it's not as dynamic as the other sites in terms of walls that can be opened and things like that, but it is one where there's a lot of ways for the defenders to attack. So you're going to need to make sure that you've got some hatches reinforced depending on where you want to play. You may surrender these 2 hatches and may try to protect this one in particular, so that you can have someone play in here and defend the 2 sites, maybe even 2 people potentially, but they just have to be careful about getting hit by 2 frag grenades or something like that. This site does have cover here, so you'll see defenders who like to play back here because they can have cover, they can move around. Obviously they're susceptible to the hatch being opened up, but otherwise pretty strong position there. Defenders can play back here. Great way to get cover from the bomb on that hallway. So yeah, if you're defending this bomb site, you're going to need at least 1 player, maybe 2 players upstairs, trying to hold on to the hatches. Perhaps trying to defend this hatch and this hatch in particular, and force the attackers to waste as much time upstairs as possible before opening those hatches. And then you're going to need some good coordination to cover the 3 main entrances, and then you're going to need to decide whether you want to have a rotation on this wall or whether you want to reinforce it and make it a hard point of your of your defenses. That covers all the bomb sites on Bank. I hope that I was able to give you some general insight on how to play this particular map with these particular bomb sites. If you have any questions, please ask below. I'm going to leave you with a few different clips of some Valkyrie camera replacements, including how to set them up and what the cameras cover. So if you're interested, please stick around to watch that. Thank you very much for watching.
truly